This is Christian Lyle for CS5453, and I'm going to be recording a cybersecurity tool tutorial for the tool Hydra, which is a password cracking utility. Uh, Now, when we normally think of password cracking utilities, we might think of tools like John the Ripper or Hashcat, which perform offline password cracking and have the ability to perform continuous attempts against password files or hashes, uh, and you can run against those such in such ways as using wordless, where you might know the form of the password and create a wordless based off of it. Now, let's imagine a scenario where instead of performing an offline crack, I'm trying to perform an online crack, and I'm trying to attempt to crack into someone's account in UTSA. Now, the issue with this compared to an offline crack is the ability to do continuous attempts, because every time I type in a username and a passphrase, I will have to click login, and that is going to take up the time that it takes to make a single attempt, compared to an offline crack where continuous attempts can be performed against a password file or hash. Now, these situations might seem dissimilar, but they are actually very similar because in both situations, you might know the form of the password, but you will still have to attempt to crack it. The only difference is that offline cracking utilities have a much easier time with this because they are not limited by network transfer and things such as these login pages. Now, Hydra is a tool which attempts to bridge that gap. So let's take a look at the manual page for Hydra. Oops. So as you can see, it describes itself as a fast network logon cracker that supports many different services. And some of those services can be seen here, and these include services like FTP, HTTP, HTTPS, Postgres, like SQL, and SSH. So Hydra is a tool that attempts to bridge the gap between things like offline password cracking and attempting to just continuously log in and do attempts on a login web page by doing continuous cracking attempts against online or network services. Now, for this tool demonstration, I've created a target that is on the same network as this Kali machine, and as with a normal cybersecurity scenario, we can first start from an Nmap scan. This will show us what is running on the target. And as you can see, there are two open ports on this target running two services, the first being port 22 with SSH and port 80 using HTTP. So now let's navigate to the web page being hosted by this target through a browser. And we can see it takes us to a web page, and let's see what kind of information we might be able to derive in order to gain access to the system. So we see Rocking Industries, we're at an internal portal, and we see an IT department notice from this Rocking admin that might potentially be a user, and it's discussing their password policy. And we can see the details of their password policy. Passwords must be exactly 6 characters long, only use digits from the approved set, and this is the policy that their company has. And we can see the primary admins is called Rocking Admin. So we have gathered from this page a potential username, and the type of password that we're looking for. It's going to be a 6 character password consisting of these 6 digits only. And knowing that for this scenario, oops, I've created a script with Python to generate the appropriate word list. This will generate uh, the 6 character passwords using the digits 1 through 6 for a total of 46,000 passwords that are possible on the target. So I'm just gonna run that real quick, and that's gonna send this to a rockingwordlist.txt. And we can see, those passwords are in there like that. So now, with an appropriate generated word list, we can begin running Hydra. And just taking a look at some of the Hydra options, I'm going to focus on the ones that are relevant to this scenario. The -L login option, that will attempt to log in with a login name, in this case, rocking admin, that's what we're going to be attempting. This -P file, that's going to load several passwords from a file, the password file that we've created. There's this T tasks, which is an important option for Hydra. This allows you to run parallel tasks so that you can have multiple tasks attempting across the network to crack the password, because no matter what, this is going to be slower than an offline crack, just due to the nature of having to transfer requests over a network to attempt to crack the password. And another relevant option is this verbose mode, which will give us more information about each attempt. So let's run hydra-l with the rocking admin username, -p with the rocking word list we've generated. And we're going to attempt to attack the SSH service that we know is running on this target and attempt to log in through that using the username. And we can do -t, let's say 4, and v verbose mode. Yeah, I've run this before, but yeah, this is just gonna. So as we can see, what Hydra does, it will attempt each password in the word list over the network against the service. And we can see the 4 different threads that were created using the -t4 option. Now, for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to cut this off early, and instead of rocking wordlist.txt, I'm going to give it this rocking pass file that I've created, which contains the correct password. Because this attempt will eventually complete, but it will take a while, just due to the nature of how these work compared to something like an offline password crack. An online password crack is going to take much longer, but it will eventually complete. And this rocking pass file, we can see the attempt against the target was successful, and we can see the password of 214563 is what it found to successfully find a valid password. And now we can attempt to log in as rocking admin. And let's enter 214563. And we can see we have gained access to the target. Who am I? I'm rocking admin. And yeah, that is the demonstration of the Hydra tool. This tool might be limited in situations due to stuff like online passwords attempts, where if you attempt them too many times, you'll get blocked, or you might get rate limited by machines. But overall, Hydra is a very useful tool for performing offline cracks of passwords where otherwise you would not be able to have an avenue to attempt them. Thank you.